What's going on? Mark Zitler here. Welcome everybody. Hope you all are having a wonderful day. This video is going to be the introduction of a series of videos on this channel that are very personal for me. Actually, I've been contemplating whether or not I actually wanted to do these videos. Also, I'm not the best communicator ever. I feel like it could be beneficial for me to vent and get things off my chest. Maybe some of you are going through or have been through similar situations and will be able to relate. If not, hopefully I'm entertaining enough that you enjoy our time together and possibly learn something about yourself through me along the way. So let's dig in. What's this video about? Well, the phrase of today, kids, is mental health. Jokes aside, obviously it's a very important subject, or at least it should be, unless you're like me and outright pretend like it doesn't exist. That's kind of why I'm making this video here. I have struggled my entire life with my mental health, possibly like many of you out there watching this right now. And honestly, I've never really put much thought into it. I always put it on the back burner or downright neglected it entirely, treating it like it didn't exist. I would even go as far as to bury it, downright deny its existence, completely when questioned about it. Using the infamous line I know we've all heard before and possibly said, when asked, "What's wrong?" "Nothing, I'm fine." Don't be like me. Trust and believe when I tell you that pretending like it doesn't exist only prolongs and compounds the problems you have. When you do finally decide to face them, it's going to be like fighting your way out of a giant spider's web and you dropped your sword. So I'll say it again. Please heed my warning. Don't be like me. So where to begin? Ah, yes. Like the phrase we've all heard before, there's no time like the present. I guess I'll say my journey began a few months ago at the time of writing this script, which is even more months ago now at the time of filming and posting. I'd recently gone through a tough breakup, and in my alone time I began meditating on things I was going through. How I got here, where I was going, and how to move forward in my life. I suddenly had an epiphany, a spark in my mind that lit a fire. The light from that fire shone brightly on an idea. That idea was to share my experience with the world, to man up, face my fears, and tell my story. At that moment, my mental health journey became my purpose. Now, it might have been some months before the breakup happened. Honestly, I don't remember exactly when, but the time frame really isn't what's important. What is important, however, is that the event would become the catalyst for the journey I'm currently on. So anyway, my relationship had become very rocky, to say the least. During an argument with my significant other one afternoon, she called me a narcissist. It really struck me as weird because I'd never thought of myself in that light before, nor had I even been called that before. I've always been a pretty humble person my whole life, so it took me by surprise. It was at that point I decided to look into narcissism. I consider myself in general a good person, so I wanted to do the right thing for our relationship and fix the problem so we could be a healthy couple. That was the day, my friends, my fall down the psychological rabbit hole on YouTube began. That moment changed my life forever, from which I still feel the ripple effects from it to this very day. Before I continue on any further, I believe it is of utmost importance to say thank you to my former lover. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have come to these realizations about myself and been given an actual purpose in life. So if you're watching, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being patient as you could during our relationship, for loving me, even when I made it the most difficult thing in the world to do. I still have so much love for you, more than I could ever express, and in some ways, more than I probably should. Inversely, perhaps more than you would ever even be willing to accept at this point either. Which is totally my fault, and I will own that. Thank you for giving it your all. I didn't do things exactly the right way when anything's between us. That was truly the first time I'd ever been put in that position. Afterwards, I straight up ran away. A part of me really wants to reconcile things, but admittedly I'm too scared to reach out, afraid of the rejection from you that I will more than likely have to face, rightfully so. Ignoring you was unfair and uncalled for. I was hurt and angry, overwhelmed by emotions. I made a brash and rash decision. I hope someday you'll forgive me and all my errors. Hopefully these videos will shed some light on my actions and train of thought, and maybe even possibly start to give you some sort of closure. Before that fateful day in which we had the argument, my knowledge on psychology was very limited. I had heard a few terms before here and there, but didn't really know the intricacies of each of them, let alone the mountains of information I have learned over the last half a year or so, spending hours and hours researching and trying to absorb as much as I could. With that said, I have been doing a lot of soul searching and self-reflection with the knowledge I've gained, and I've come to some conclusions about myself. Now, before someone gets in my comments with a, you shouldn't self-diagnose, I know, okay? Relax. I know you're not supposed to do that, okay? And I happen to be a pretty objective person, and I'll try to look at things with my biases as well as without. So any conclusions I gather about myself, I'm taking with a healthy, big-ass grain of salt. At some point, I would like to get professional to do a real assessment. However, it is not physically possible for me at this moment. So I will state it now, as well as at the beginning of every video that I feel it needs it. Disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Any of the conclusions I come to are just my opinion or best educated guesses as to what my issues may be. None of these conclusions are absolute, definitive, or set in stone, as they may change at a later date after I receive professional consultation. The purpose of this series is to allow me an emotional release and is purely for entertainment purposes only. Please consult your medical professional if you think you may relate to or identify with in any way with any of my experiences or observations. Thank you. So why am I making this video series? Simple answer, to cleanse my soul of trauma and burdens that I've held and been carrying with me since I was knee-high to a dog's thigh. To face my demons and fears head on. Most of all, to start the healing process for myself and possibly inspire someone else out there to follow my lead. Maybe even you. Yeah, you, sitting right there, watching this right now. I know this journey is going to be a difficult one. So to sum it up in a metaphor, I'm Frodo, and I'm going to Mordor, alright? And I'm taking this ring, which is my trauma, and I gotta destroy it. So unless you've been living under a rock, you know that I'm making reference to the Lord of the Rings. So what I'm asking of you out there watching this is simple. Join me and be a part of my Fellowship of the Ring. That's another reference. Before I wrap this video up, let me know in the comments below what weapon you will wield on this journey with me. If you're interested in going on this journey, then light the lantern that is the like button. This will let me know how many people are going to Mordor with me. Also, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell notification so you don't miss any of our adventures. My adventures? Nah, our adventures. Lastly, please don't forget to share this video. I mean, it would mean so much to me, guys. The upcoming videos are going to be very difficult for me, so I'm going to need as much support as I can get. Maybe you know someone who could benefit from this, but may not take it well if you share it to them. In that case, maybe try watching it together with them. As for when the next video drops, at this time of writing this, I haven't decided yet. I'm going to try to put one out every other week, so be looking out for that. I'm not sure what day that I will be putting this next video out on yet, but I'm leaning towards Sundays. However, I will have a day locked in for my video releases by the time you see this. So if you're watching this, then it should be a bi-weekly from here, which will hopefully bring some consistency to my life and channel. Thank you all for spending this time with me and watching. I hope to see you all in the comments below. I hope we can create a strong, close-knit community built around the acceptance of all our mental health issues and struggles. A safe space for us to exchange ideas and thoughts and experiences. Hope to see you all next time. Have a wonderful day, and never forget to spread love, peace, and unity. Good night.